Welcome to the American Dream. It is always great when we get to have Eran Sinai. He is CEO and founder of ID Cyber Center. It's great to have you in here, and I'm looking forward to this topic today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Always great to have you. First, I want to touch, I know you have a radio show,
Yes.
I think ESPN.
That's right.
Why don't you just tell me a little bit first about your passion for that and what your topics kind of have been lately?
So whenever people hear ESPN, obviously they think it's a sports show. No, it's not. Yes, I did play soccer. I did play professional soccer, but it has nothing to do with sport. It's a talk show. It's called Common Sense with Eran Sinai, and we bring different guests. We want to take topics that in the realm of the world and make them simple, make them bring common sense into him. So we could have city official from the district attorney to realtors to nonprofits. So we try to really take what's happening here in the world and really make sense to people so they can understand what it is about. And it's fun. The show is live streamed, so people can watch us live in the studio. It's podcasted simultaneously. You can listen to it on the radio. And I love doing it. It's a lot of fun.
And I think it's something that people really want to hear more. Everybody's tired of the mainstream stuff, or like we talk about here with, just more negative media. It's so great when you get to hear things that are empowering or inspiring or make you think differently. And hopefully people come out a better person after hearing your show.
Absolutely. And, it's Monday live at 5 p.m. So people are listening in the radio, believe it or not. Sometimes they don't want to just listen to music. And I try to make it fun. It's not heavy. It's light. I love trivia. I love music. So I always involve things like that. And people, in the beginning, they sit like this. They're a little nervous. And towards the end of the show, they're like, oh, that's an hour already? And it's gone in a second. And you know how it is. So I enjoy it.
Isn't that fun when you watch people relax into it?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
to where they're not nervous anymore and they realize, okay, I'm just here. And people want to hear natural conversations.
Yeah.
They want to hear people that are, engaging and inspiring. So I think that's so awesome that you're doing that. And
it is.
I'm glad we got to touch on that.
Yes, thank you.
Obviously, one of the really important roles that you play is being founder and CEO of ID Cyber Center. Right now, cyber, people are heightened about it. There's a culture right now, everybody's worried. They're worried about cyber attack. First, tell me, what you see as a culture that the world is looking at as far as cyber.
Unfortunately, it's not going to get any better anytime soon. As a matter of fact, there was just a convention. It's called Black Hat Convention in Vegas. That's where all the good hackers get together and discuss what's next. And the biggest topics, believe it or not, was voting. Do we want to use pen and paper or do we want to use digital? So it affects every area of our lives. And I think we cannot, and a lot of people, you'll be amazed from research we have done, bury their heads in the sand and thinking if they won't look into it, it won't happen to them. But when we talk about breaches and data leaks, and we're looking at Equifax, one of the 3 credit bureaus, when over 148 million people's information is out there. So there's no question in my mind that each one of us, you, me, every one of us' information is out there. The question is if they're going to do it, when they're going to do it, and not if, but when, and what they're going to do with it. So I would really recommend that people don't bury their head in the sand. Check on a regular credit your credit card statement. Check your credit once in a while to see. Check your even medical bills. Once a year, get a statement from your insurance company and go through it, kind of x-ray of your insurance bill, because there's a lot of medical identity theft.
Wow, that is great advice. And I bet a lot of people don't think about that.
No one does it. No one does it. And I said, look, it is tough. There's pluses and minuses with being so advanced, but we're not going backwards, we're going forward. And the thieves, yes, they're getting a little more sophisticated, but it's not as much as them being sophisticated as much as the tools are so much more readily available. So I just encourage people to really be conscious and proactive. You can't prevent it, but you can be proactively doing things to protect yourself.
So you really see that the worry kind of is real. Is there anything that people are worried about that maybe shouldn't be and they're focusing on the wrong thing from your perspective?
Yes, I think people are focused on the credit card and they think, well, it's okay, if they'll steal my credit card, the bank will reimburse me. But it's not only that, it's much deeper than that. It is using your identity to even do crimes. It is doing things that could hurt you financially that you're going to have a problem proving that it's not you. And I always say, no, even quickly, people don't know the difference between using a credit card and a debit card as far as liability. And it is so common. A small, quick example, Demi Moore, everyone knows who she is. A few weeks ago, and you guys can check it out, someone called American Express, and he knew enough information about her to say that her card was stolen and change her address so her new card will be sent to his address. He got her new American Express, and it was in the paper, spent $169,000. Now, because it's her, they didn't question the spending. Then he tried to sell the merchandise. Lucky her, and it never happened. He got caught, right? But what I'm trying to say, don't ignore things. People know about you enough that they can create those synthetic fake profiles just like that. So be proactive, look at your credit card statement, and, worry but keep living.
Sure.
And that's really
I
what I
think
have
being
to say.
proactive and making it the new habit.
Absolutely.
We've had to learn a new habit of living with cybersecurity and with worrying about our identities. It has to become a new part of our almost daily life of being proactive, like you're saying.
Absolutely.
And I think we could probably do an entire half-hour show just on this.
That's right.
I really appreciate that you brought up these key topics.
You're
I
welcome.
hope that our viewers really heed the warning, and we'll be right back with more of The American Dream.
I left the palace to hustle a great life of the American dream. These are the words of His Highness Dr. Prince Mario Max Schaumburg-Lippe of Germany. Prince, good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us on the American Dream.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be with you, and it's absolutely true. It started pretty early. I was born in this little village, we have to say, the city Salzburg, the Sound of Music city, and fortunately enough, we had a stage in this city. And as a young boy, I was performing in the opera Boris Godunov. And that was when I started to dream about Hollywood, about America. And it just became my biggest dream. And then when I was 16 years old, I started to do a radio show and started to do television. So I'm with the media all my life, but of course, first it started in Europe. Very humble with little shows and little columns I wrote. And the interesting thing is when people asked me, what do you do? I always said, I'm on TV, I'm a TV personality, I'm a radio journalist. So I never said I'm a prince, because I said that's something that is not the most interesting thing. My job, being in the media, being in entertainment, was always what I lived for. Yeah, and then a few years ago, I really made it to Hollywood, and after a successful and big career in entertainment in Europe, I said, now I'm going to jump in the cold water, come to Hollywood and see what happens. And I'm now a judge at the Television Academy for the Emmy Awards, and I'm working 7 days a week on interesting projects. I started my own PR company, so I help people to get in the media, or if they have a crisis, get out of the media. And I'm just having a blast being in this wonderful country, and America is being very friendly to me. I think it's such an open and such a cool place. So I feel very welcome, and I thank this country for what opportunity it gave to me. I really have to mention that.
Well, it's pretty fascinating that you found your inspiration in this Hollywood scene, that you actually made the leap from being a prince to now being here in Southern California. What year did you do that?
I started with little steps. So first, I just went to New York, and there I met at the function of Prince Albert of Monaco, Liza Minnelli, and we just had a blast dancing. And she said to me, "Oh, this kid can dance." So legendary Liza Minnelli from the musical Cabaret. Most of you guys will know her from winning the Oscar, the Emmy, the Grammy, and the Tony. This legendary entertainer invited me to dance class to Luigi, who was the former dance captain of MGM Studios. And there I was dancing and rehearsing with Liza Minnelli, with Ben Vereen, Pippin, with Christine Baranski from the ABBA movie, all these legends. And every day we went to this Broadway dance class at 11. And she took me under her wings, and we had a blast. And I started to work on musical shows. So I was starring in a show called Pretty Faces. I was starring in Dracula's Story. I was starring in the show 12 Days of Christmas. So I did a lot of stage work first. And then I wanted to merge back into television, what I did in Europe. So I moved on to my next education, and I went to the Lee Strasberg Institute, and there I studied with David Strasberg, who is the son of Lee Strasberg. And right on, I booked TV stuff. I had a show on VH1, I did work on Bravo, and then I did a movie for Lifetime television. So everything worked out really cool, and I just feel whenever you want to achieve something and work hard and learn your craft, it really works, and I never had a problem with it. And now, as the acting is a thing that comes and goes, because you always have to rely on people booking you, hiring you for a project, I start my own project. So that's a thing I like a lot, doing own projects. We just won Culver City Film Festival with a production about a school in Hollywood where kids graduate high school age 11. And I teamed up with this school because I think it's such an advantage for American kids to be able to graduate with the high school degree age 11. Then they can go right away into learning a profession or studying. And we're so proud because the next season of the Dancing with the Stars is a junior edition. And our boy Lev graduated high school age 12. And he's now on the Dancing with the Stars as a professional. He is in the music video with Justin Timberlake, and our boy is also on the national commercial of a clothing brand. That's one of our alumni of the Ivy League College Preparatory Academy. And then another kid we have is at law school now. Maxana finished at 11, and she's now studying law, which is very impressive. So I like to help others because I know through hard work and hustling you can achieve a lot. And that's what I want to pass on to the audience and to everyone. Just go for it.
Well, you're an award-winning actor and a TV host as well, so you're very much in the space. You like the art of it all, but it sounds like you also have that entrepreneurial spirit where you're starting businesses and you're doing things for others. Explain what you're doing in that world.
Yeah, so meaning being an entrepreneur is for me one of the greatest things, and it really came up in me when I came to this country because there are no greater entrepreneurs than the American ones. The speed of a project that can be commenced, then the power of economy in this country is unparalleled. So I love what opportunity you can have here, and it's just a question of seizing your moment. And so many people asked me, Prince, how did you become so well known in Hollywood so fast? You won all these awards, you're in the press, so how do you do that? Well, I've been in the public all my life, and I've been in journalism all my life. So this is what I know best. And then I said, well, you know what? Why don't I start a PR company and help others to promote their person, their product, their company? And I did it, and from day one, I'm representing a new TV show by a former Oprah Winfrey producer. I'm representing stars that are in and out of the media. Sometimes we need to get them back out of the media when they have a scandal and they say, oh, Prince, please, can you help us? We have some crisis happening. And I'm like, okay, let's overlay it with a good story. Let's pull you out of the media. I help those. And then a friend of mine who just happened to play along, Eric Roberts, the Oscar nominee and brother of Julia Roberts, and who was now in the Jurassic Park franchise, a new Jurassic World movie. So my buddy said to me, well, I'm doing all these great projects, but I don't get enough press. Boom, here we go. Now I represent him, and he's getting an article every day of the year. That's what I love. And another big project of myself is Prince Caviar. So I import and distribute organic caviar, and it's the world's best caviar, and caviar is very healthy. I grew up with it, but when I came to the US, I saw it's unaffordable, like so expensive. These little tins cost so much. I mean, you can not only work for buying this healthy caviar. So I said I need to change it. So I came in with caviar imported, and this caviar has a wholesale price. So Prince Caviar is affordable for everyone, and it has all the natural fish oils and vitamins. So it's a good product, and now for the first time in America with a great price.
Well, you've had an amazing journey. A lot of people say that the American dream is dead. You as a prince have made the journey on your own, taken all of the risks. And as I ask you about your entrepreneurial spirit, it sounds like you're in about 10 different things, but you're passionate about all of them. You have a successful career as an actor, TV host, and now you're helping others to do it. We appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story of the American dream. Thank you so much, Prince. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And I have to say one thing. I'm also sharing what I can achieve because I love the American veterans, what they did and what they do for this country. And I mean, they keep America so nice and they kept it always safe. And I'm always donating for them. I love them. And I did some festival, a caviar festival for benefiting the veterans with the proceeds. And I think we should always look for and after others when we are successful in what we do.
Thank you so much for honoring our military. We really do appreciate that. All right, thank you so much. Cheers to your American dream. Gotta let you go. More of the show coming up next.
My next guest is Amir Cackovic. He is a broker with Prestige Realty Advisors. Amir, great to see you again.
Thanks for having me again.
So Amir, I know that you're a real estate broker, you're a licensed contractor, and you're actually even an architectural designer that's won some awards. How does your vast experience help your clients? And do you think that it's important for realtors to have a plethora of experiences in different trades that they're versed in?
I always compare this with construction. So let's say you have to do the remodel in your house and addition in your house. It would be much more valuable for you if you hire a contractor who knows multiple trades instead of actually hiring plumber, electrician, framer. So typically it's less headache for you and will be cheaper. Most people think that all real estate agents are the same. They would be saying like all doctors are the same. Although the doctors got the same amount of years to school, they are not the same. There's some top doctors, they're getting patients all over the world. People are flying half of the globe to be treated by them. On the other hand, you have doctors, they're actually struggling getting enough patients in their own hometown. So the same with the real estate agents. So not everybody is the same, not all the doctors are the same. Many of my buyers were very appreciative when I was able to point a few things like, you have to know when a structural damage in the house is before actually putting the house, offer in the house. The same with the potential code violations, etc. And on the other hand, with the sellers, they're very thankful when I give them advice, very inexpensive how to upgrade a few things, how you can actually update the house in order to get more money for your house, more net. So I think it's very, very important for the agents, the same like a contractor or doctors, to know multiple trades, then you can be more service for the clients.
So when speaking of advice that you have for your clients, what upgrades do you recommend to your sellers that are looking to get really top dollar for their home? Because who doesn't want top dollar?
Exactly. That's multiple, everything, multiple things could be upgraded, but specifically 3 things which are bringing the biggest ROI, what buyers looking at are the kitchen, bathrooms, and outdoor space. Outdoor space meaning front yard and backyard. Front yard for the curb appeal, backyard for where people spend time and outdoors. So most people looking for the kitchen first, regardless if they cook or not cook. Everybody wants to have a nice kitchen. Second one would be bathrooms and outdoor space as a third one. So if you as a seller have a budget to and wanted to upgrade some things, don't waste your time with putting new crown moldings or whatever. So spend money on the highest ROI, which is kitchen, bathroom, outdoors. But on the other hand, there's a few things where you can fairly inexpensively upgrade, so like painting specific walls, etc. So that's a saying what goes that paint in the bucket costs $30, on the wall is $3,000. So you can very easily upgrade your house and get more money in your pocket.
That's a good saying. I've never heard that. $30 and you get $3,000. Well, that's quite a profit that I don't think anyone would turn away from. And I think that people...
All Jenny's saying.
Yeah. I think that people just want to walk into a space and feel like it's fresh and clean and that they don't have to potentially do too much work if they're not looking for a fixer. Would you recommend home staging to your clients?
If you asked me this question before, I would say no. Before, actually, I really didn't. I wasn't a big fan of staging because spending multiple thousands of dollars in the house, I would rather spend this money in the marketing, bringing people to the house. Because you can have a beautiful house, but if nobody sees the house, it's a waste of time. Now, with the technology today, starting a couple of years ago, I would recommend, especially with the virtual reality and 3D models. So only in that case makes sense. So you would stage a house and do the 3D model and virtual reality of your house, and that way you expose the house not only locally but internationally, and pretty much anywhere on the world people can see the house. In that case, it would make sense to spend money in that staging.
Well, and those photos, that video, it just translates so much more to the viewers when the home is staged beautifully. I completely agree with you, Amir, and it's fantastic to have you back on the show. Great to see you.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you. And we'll be right back with more of The American Dream. My next guest is a broker associate, a realtor, and a national speaker. I want to welcome none other than Amanda Todd with the Amanda Todd Group. Amanda, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
So, Amanda, is this a good time for first-time home buyers to purchase? I think people are experiencing a little bit of sticker shock, but you actually say yes.
I do think it's a good time, and one of the reasons why is there's more inventory. We finally are starting to have more houses to sell. So that gives buyers a lot more options, because when there's low inventory and there's not very many houses to buy, there's a lot more competition. So with more homes on the market, they have more chances and more opportunity.
So if someone does purchase a home, they get their offer accepted, what are some of the different ways that they can safeguard themselves in that process? Because of course we want our buyers and our sellers to be always protected.
Right, exactly. So doing really thorough home inspection, and if you're in an area that is common to have dry rot or termites, doing a pest inspection, making sure that you are really diving in and understanding everything you can about that property. There's also an opportunity to get something called a clue report that shows if there's been any homeowners insurance claims made against that property and what they were for.
So if someone wants to do an inspection, I know that when inventory was really low and people were really motivated to buy and just secure something and they were losing out on, home after home, they were waiving their right to inspections. Do you always tell your clients not to do that?
Oh, I really strongly recommend having your own inspection, because then it's someone who is there representing you and fighting for your best interest. And then you know for yourself, there is really expectations on sellers to disclose things. But again, it's always best to just be able to find out for yourself, have someone that you know is working for you on your side. I've seen some pretty big horror stories, and I would never want one of my clients to go through something that they did not have the full picture on. What's usually most people's largest financial investment is their home. And so I would, for my clients, I want to make sure that they know exactly what they're getting into.
Sure. Well, there's so much at stake, and we can call them horror stories or we can call them precautionary tales, because this is really what we're doing. We're trying to advise the American people on the way to protect themselves and the way to, secure these financial investments for their future. So what are some of the pitfalls that you are seeing? What are some of the don'ts that you're seeing that we should really be aware of and avoid?
Well, a lot of times buyers feel like that they are spending so much money on appraisal, inspections, closing costs, that they'll avoid buying a home warranty. I had some buyers that closed recently that the day after they closed, their pool pump went out on their house. $2,000 repair, on their pool. And if they had had the home warranty in place, it would have been, probably a $70 service call, and that would have been it. And so we joke around that it's kind of the Murphy's Law insurance, but you don't want to be the one that Murphy's Law plays a trick on. So having a home warranty, again, making sure you have that thorough inspection, that even if you don't ask your seller for any repairs, making sure that you know exactly what you're getting into. And so really having an agent that negotiates really well on your behalf and really informs you of the entire process every step of the way, whether it's protecting your earnest money deposit if you need to back out because of something that comes up in an inspection, or making sure that you do have a home warranty and you're advised of your options during the transaction. Having a good agent on your side is really critical for that.
It certainly is, and just another way to safeguard yourself, which is really what this segment has been about. Amanda, Todd, always fantastic to see you and have you on The American Dream.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
And we'll be right back with more of the show.
Hi, this is Cherokee Morris, Synergy One Lending.
And I'm Alex Watts at Synergy One Lending. I am your senior loan officer.
And what does it mean to be a senior loan officer?
Well, I mean, for us, it's just to make your guys' life easy. Plain and simple, mortgage is boring. Nobody wants to hear us talk all day. You get one side from the realtor, then you get the other side from us. So we're kind of your backstop. We make sure that you get qualified for your loan. We have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that you qualify for the payment that we're putting you in, and we don't have that big mortgage crisis again, right?
Well, yeah, you're right. He's absolutely right on that. And your mortgage payment is based on a few different variables and a few different things. You have property taxes, which is something that comes from the state. They give it to you. It's generally 1.25% of whatever your loan amount is.
That's correct.
You might have an HOA, which is great. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Your yard stays done, but it's a little bit of extra money out of your pocket.
I hate yard work.
Me too. You know, my wife has me do it basically every single day, but that's different story. And then you actually have your principal and interest. So that's your actual mortgage payment itself that you owe to the banking establishment until you get your home paid off. And don't forget your homeowner's insurance, just in case that thing burns down while you're cooking breakfast.
So what you're telling me is, as a loan officer, our responsibility is to make sure that they can qualify for that full payment. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and whatever HOA that they have.
Absolutely right. Don't forget your mortgage insurance as well.
Great.
When you have an FHA loan or a conventional loan, if you're not putting that full 20% down, you have mortgage insurance, which is basically to back the bank just in case you foreclose or you start running late on your payments. It's a way for them to make some extra money. That's all it is, and keep them secure. But that's basically it. We look at your debt to income ratio, we look to see who qualifies for what, and we get you into a home and we hope to do a quality job for it.
Absolutely. So that's it. We are senior loan officers. We help you get qualified. Don't forget, we love our referral partners, your realtors that you choose. We work hand in hand with them. Any of your friends or family, we'd love to take care of them also.
All right, that's all for the American Dream. Thank you so much for checking us out. Remember, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage your American Dream. Don't forget, we love you to breathe oxygen into this message. Follow us on social media, and don't forget, we'll catch you next time. See you next week.